Hello and welcome to a live edition of the GW Basketball Insiders podcast after a 68-66 loss by GW men's basketball to the Dayton Flyers. Yet another close loss by GW. Here I am sitting at home. I'm joined by David Korn, Abe Rothstein, and Scott Greaney, who are at the Smith Center currently, just out of the press conference. So I'll turn it over to you guys. What did you think about the game tonight? And just give me your general thoughts.
I'll take this for the start. I mean, I think the first thing to say is this was a great atmosphere at the Smith Center. Friday 10, great game, a lot of fun. Energy was infectious. We counted 3 current NBA players in attendance. GW alum Jamison Battle, Colin Murray Boyles, and Tristan Vukcevic. So that was pretty cool. But I mean, it's the story of the season. GW cannot win close games. This happened again. Free throws and turnovers were the big problem. Rafael Castro, 2 of 10 from the free throw line. GW as a team was what?
16
for 29. And I mean, that's the story. You can't say anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think that's the thing to lead with. Rafael Castro, 2 for 10 from the free throw line, as was pointed out by friend of the program, Cameron Mays, in my mentions. 2 and 10 is also the record that GW has in games decided by 10 points or less this year. 2 for 10 for Rafael Castro. 2 missed free throws with about 20 seconds left. The free throw shooting was, in a close game like this, it's just really hard to overlook that sort of poor free throw shooting in a game that's decided by 2 points when they miss so many free throws.
Well, I do want to make a point. Yeah, the free throw shooting was a problem, but then also you had Dayton coming back without making a single field goal in the last minute of that game, or last 40 seconds or whatever. I think the big costly play was the Luke Hunger foul after that last missed free throw, which then we would be talking about this in a pretty different light. Coach was telling us after their look for offensive rebounds. They run certain plays going for offensive rebounds, and that was not one of them. After that free throw, it just happened that the ball bounced weird. Latong, we had a pretty good view, had literally the ball like behind his head, and it looked like it could have been popped loose. So understandably, Hunger was trying to go after it, but unfortunately got a little over aggressive and a foul was called. Just want to put that out there to, show how we could be looking at things very differently. But once again, a bounce did not go the way of GW.
Yeah, I mean, it just sort of seems like they're. I mean, we kind of said this earlier in the season, but it just seems like they're inventing new ways to lose these close games.
That's what Caputo said in the press conference in his opening statement. This line really stuck out to me. I tweeted it. He said, "quote We found a lot of difficult ways to lose this season." So yeah. he feels the same as you do, Liam. So if that brings you any peace,
it unfortunately does not change the result of the game. So it does not bring me much peace. But so talk to me about the press conference. What was there anything that Caputo or anyone else said that stuck out to you other than that?
Scott, you take this because you've been at more of the press conferences than all of us. So I think you can maybe share what may have stuck out to you in this one specifically.
Yeah, I think from the player stand side, we had Trey Autry and John Irongar. So, I mean, John's been playing pretty well the last few games. He had a very solid game today. Had a crucial foul, though, in that last minute that allowed Dayton to actually get it within 1, actually, because Bennett missed that free throw. But they definitely needed him on that last possession there. But it just seems like they still have that next game mentality, but it seems like they know that they found a lot of ways to lose games as well. Trey Autry, I think he just said, we flat out need to get better. Just find a way to get on to the next game. But it's just, for me, what I've noticed is looking at these last few losses here, it just takes something that whenever GW has some sort of momentum in a game, one little thing to completely flip the switch. You're looking at the VCU game, that technical really spurred that VCU run. SLU's loss as well. That half-court shot going into halftime completely changed the tone of the game in that second half. Abe and I were looking at it that Bennett just barely got that 3-point shot off. that really gave Dayton back into it. I think that put them up 5 with 5 minutes left. But so yeah, I mean, it's in the players, like it's very down right now. But I mean, it's just a next game mentality with them. But it's just hard to trust this team when it's down into those crucial minutes there.
Yeah. So a question I asked in the press conference, sort of to add on to that a bit. I think this was the most, striking part is I asked Chris Caputo just sort of what his message to the team is after another tough loss. I mean, Liam, I think you have the numbers of this, but it just seems like it's happening again and again. And he had a really interesting response I think in a very Caputo-esque fashion. He went on sort of a little tangent about Murray State and started talking about how difficult and what led to that loss. He started talking about what was going wrong in the St. Louis game that led to that loss. And it was basically what he said is like they've also had a lot of good. Like they're 3 of 5. They've been doing very well. And so it's one of those things where like obviously they're disappointed right now, but I think they feel okay. And on a similar note, I asked Trey Autry what the team needs to work on in the next 2 games before the tournament. And it was sort of nothing but everything is kind of what he said, because it's difficult to pinpoint what exactly is going wrong down the stretch, because sometimes it's timeouts. Like today, it was just not getting those shots to fall. And so there was a lot of free throws. In the St. Louis game, there was a timeout issue, but it was also like a defensive switch against Avila that caused that loss to happen. So it's not like there's just one consistent thing. And I think that's sort of the message that the team is putting out publicly, and I just thought it was an interesting way to look at it. And it wasn't necessarily something I thought about. So I thought that was sort of very mature and interesting that it seemed like Autry and Caputo were aligned in that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting because, like you said, it's hard to fix an issue when you can't really pinpoint that issue. But like, let's go back to the beginning of this game tonight. Yeah. Dayton comes out. Dayton is pressing the shit out of GW and having a lot of success, just like they were in the game in Dayton. And it's working. And GW then finds a way to get themselves back in it, kind of gets a few stops, and they're able to start running their offense. So in the same way that whatever it takes mentally to close out games or to, come back in late games, because that's really been the issue, is they're down by, 1 to 2 possessions in the last few minutes, and they just can't really get over the hump. They don't have that, but numerous times this season, they've come back from these bigger deficits in the first half or earlier in the game. So I just find it so fascinating that they have the mental, they have the experience and they're strong enough mentally to come back from these deficits, but not to win the close games. And I just don't know how you really fix that.
And I do think Arngren fouling out there on that Bennett drive with, I think, about 40 seconds to go was crucial. He was GW's best player if you're a plus-minus guy. He was +7 today. And I think Autry was the only other guy in the positives for plus-minus. He hit Arngren nearly had a quadruple nickel, had 4 steals, which almost made.
You threw Caputo for a loop a bit when you brought up the quadruple nickel stat.
He did. I had to throw that out there. But he was phenomenal tonight. And, I asked him, walk us through that last possession where Marshall, drove to the basket and GW wasn't able to get, shots off that offensive rebound. And he said, even if Arngren was in, he thinks that was the right play because that possession before they ran nearly the same play. Marshall was able to get that layup and Marshall drove, and coach said, we get 3 chances at the rim after that. So they got the right look. They got at the basket, and he thought Castro might have rushed a little bit, not knowing, might think there was a little less time. But GW had 3 shots at the rim after the first attempt. Yeah. In a really frustrating way. Yeah. And right there, so close.
And I don't hate the shot. Tyron Marshall's been so strong driving to the rim.
And he was great tonight.
Yeah, he was great. He was everywhere.
He's been good. Yeah, I've liked him driving to the rim, going to his right. He was going to his left on that shot.
That's a great point, Liam. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is he's still very strong and going to the rim. The 3-Bid League account podcast posted out.
Yeah, they were sitting right next to us. Great guys to watch a game with.
They are very great guys to watch a game with. They posted something that said basically GW ran that Tyrone Marshall to the rim play 3 times and Dayton figured out how to stop it the 3rd time. And like,
Yeah, they
that's
made him go
ultimately-
left.
Yeah, and they made him go left. Yeah. So, I think he might be frozen. Oh dear.
Far. Oh.
Okay, I think we're back. We're back.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Are we back?
I can hear
Okay,
you
so
guys. I can hear you guys.
I don't want to interrupt, but one thing I want to make sure to say is I do think okay, good. We're all here.
Very
The
delightful.
beauty of live streaming. We're working through this together. One thing I do want to share that I think was a big positive is something that has sort of plagued this GW team is sort of slow second halves. And I do think the second half, the way they came out was very impressive because they were down big in the first half, like 19-5 to start. Like that's not good. So they sort of fought their way back, had a bit of momentum going into it and kept that up to keep it a game. And I talked to Jean Arngern about that after, and he was sort of very clear about like, yeah, we kept the energy up, we kept what we were doing. And that start to the second half was a track meet, like back and forth, turnover, there. And again, they were looking good. They were keeping the energy up. They were playing with Dayton. And so I think that is something that should be applauded. And because again, we're at this point, I've been saying this a lot, but you know, once you lost in those MTE games, once you lost to Delaware, as long as you sort of avoid the double bye, not much really matters. That much wins and losses. And that's sort of a very cynical, I guess, like that's not a really fun way to look at a season. But that thus is the life of a mid-major. And so this was a positive that I think that can be taken away from this game. I think this is something that can help going into the tournament. Avery remotioning to me.
I was seeing wonderful GW head of production, Josh, taking some shots on the court from the free throw line. He did make his first two, but just missed.
Good one, Josh.
I was gonna first like I do want to talk about Javon Bennett because I thought he was phenomenal tonight. But I kind of am wondering, I'm hearing some noises there. What the hell is going on in the Smith Center right now? Is it just Josh taking some shots, or like I'm hearing like squeaking
and they're putting in the second deck. They're retracting the second seats.
I believe Josh just made another free throw. You think Josh should have been out there for GW?
He could well, actually, I had a professor.
Can he make some free throws? Sure. Yeah.
I had a professor my freshman year. He worked at GW for a long time.
We've lost Scott.
Professor
Scott's
Joseph
doubled over.
McDaniels. And at the time, he was probably in his 80s. But he would always tell us that one time he had a GW player. He wouldn't say who it was in his class, and they were struggling from the free throw line. He claimed that he fixed their free throw shot by aiming it at the square.
That's the most like, you know, second grade. It's like, no, but you have to understand it. If you put it at the square, it bounces back and it goes in. It's like, that's the most rudimentary.
So
it works.
I just imagine there's some like physics professor out here like sending an email to Chris Caputo trying to tell them all to shoot, telling Rafael Castro he actually needs to shoot Greaney style.
Right. I mean, honestly, maybe he should try it. I don't really think GW is the type of school that has physics professors watching the games on Friday nights. I think that's more of a Dayton thing. So maybe we've got a little bit of a ways to go.
Sorry for getting us off track.
No, I mean, is there a track to stay on?
No, there's no track.
That he shot that. I don't think he took like a breath. Like he normally takes a deep breath, makes like one or two dribbles beforehand. I think he put that up as straight as he got the ball. Like the nerves were definitely apparent from that first.
It's a guy
who barely touched the rim too.
It's a guy who does not want to be on the free throw line right now, and I think that's clear. And I think teams are going to continue hacking him, seeing what happened today, and he's going to need to figure it out, or else this is going to be a significant problem for GW having a player who, I mean, Abe, I don't want to throw the Knicks under the bus, but like a Mitchell Robinson situation.
Yeah.
Don't talk about my Knicks.
Well, it's the second year in a row that he's gotten worse as the season has gone on as a free throw shooter. It's also the second year in a row that he's had a late game situation where he's missed both free throws in a critical spot. I think you're right to say that teams should maybe consider hacking him. And I think it was really smart. I forget who the Dayton player was that quickly fouled him, but I think it was really smart that they did that. And I've seen some discussion about whether Castro should have tried to pass the ball up to Luke Hunger or something like that. I mean, I would have to watch the replay, but I just don't know if there was really time for that.
No time.
it was
No,
pretty
he was fouled immediately. Securing the rebound is priority number one.
right.
And nobody was in the immediate area either. It was just him sort of along the baseline there. There was no other guard in the immediate area for him to give it to.
Yeah. So I mean, like, Rafael Castro came into this game as a 67% free throw shooter. And
Liam, for the people listening on Spotify or another podcast app, can you explain what you just did when you said
I just did the
67?
one hand up and the other hand. I did the 6-7 thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the radio in me making sure we.
No, I actually appreciate that. So anyway, he's a 67% free throw shooter. If he makes 6 out of his 10 free throws tonight instead of 2 out of his 10 free throws, GW wins this game by 4 points. And obviously that's an oversimplification, but like, the missed free throws, not just for Castro, but for others too, really came back to bite them tonight.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to blame those, but there were so many other opportunities that they still could have won this game. Again, 3 shots at the rim with under 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Missed those. There's that hunger foul, which of course we can look back at, but it was a wild play. And, it's very, very frustrating. If my dad was 6'2", maybe I wouldn't be 5'8". So, pretty easy to look at things.
Right.
I'd say.
David, there's a legendary Liverpool fan quote that I'm thinking of that's probably not appropriate to say on the air. But he's saying, like, he's the best player in the world. Sadio Mane, he's the best player in the world. And then,
It's a great call.
And I think you know what I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'd like to share because again, I think it's a Friday night, bad loss. I don't think we need to go too long on this. I think we should keep it to a tight 20. But there is one more thing I'd like to share from the press conference that I thought was like very insightful. I asked Trey Autry about what they sort of learned from the first time they played Dayton going into today, sort of acknowledging that this was a very different team with Amel Latong in instead. And he sort of made, I think, a really apt comparison to GW about how Dayton has sort of become a different team because they learned how to play without Latong and they put him back in, just like GW sort of learned how to play without Castro, and how Hunger was able to step up. And so I thought that was a very intelligent way to sort of look at this and sort of find a bit of, I guess, common ground. I don't think is the right way to say it, but just a similarity between their situations. And so I thought that was a pretty cool perspective he had on it, how Dayton has transformed and how they could be a better team going forward into the A10 tournament, and how they could be a very, very dangerous team in there because they learned how to play without their star center, Latong, who I'm very impressed with, and who I think you see GW has been, they struggled a bit today with Castro, whereas Dayton, they look even better because the other guys stepped up in his absence.
Yeah. I thought Castro looked good for a lot of the night. It took him a little bit to settle in, but I keep going back to the free throws.
It's tough when you leave 8 points on the floor, in such a close game. Like I understand that he did a lot of good things, but it is GW makes their free throws, they win this game. I think that's a pretty. I hate to oversimplify this, but this was such a fun game. There's so many little things that happened. Again, like I think this was really one of the most exciting GW games in recent memory. Combination of the atmosphere, the ESPN stakes, all of this. And so it's just so tough to boil it down to free throws, which in reality is something that's so random. And it's tough to even in our role as the media, it's like how you even really ask that, because it's like, what do? It's like you don't do anything. It's like the players know they need to make their free throws. The players know to practice their free throws, and so it's just it's tough. It's so I just feel for the team because it's they really didn't do all that much wrong, other than the slow start, and so Liam, I'm going to switch this around. We usually format these when one of us is at home, one of us is at the game. The person at home asks questions, but I have a question for you. Since this was the first GW game on ESPN2, the first quote Friday 10 GW game, what were some of the highlights of the broadcast that you thought that?
Yeah, Dr. John.
I would love to hear about it because we didn't see it. So just for our perspective, or anyone who maybe missed it.
Yeah, sorry, I think maybe we're a little delayed here, but Dr. John is great.
No, you're good. Just restart your point.
Yeah, Dr. John is awesome, and he's a great commentator. And I think this is his first year doing the Friday 10, so I'm super glad to have him on Friday 10. He actually did a great little video analysis thing with 2 of the GW managers about about defending off of a screen, and how in the first half, and about how both Latang and Castro are very good at kind of being these like switchable big men who can guard off of screens, and did a great little demonstration of different kind of coverage off of a screen. So I really enjoyed that. They had the Founding Farmers, which has been so far tonight my most viral tweet. Founding Farmers, if you don't know, is the only restaurant that has ever been rated 0 stars out of 10 by the Washington Post, and they went there last night. So anyway, that was just something. But no,
I heard that was a good time was had by all. Sources say.
So according to sources,
dinner.
yeah. No, I like Founding Farmers. I don't understand the 0 stars out of 10 rating. That's not the point. But no, the broadcast.
I mean, it's like the Cheesecake Factory. It's like it's fine.
I love cheesecake.
Right.
Factory.
Yeah,
I love cheesecake.
They have a good happy hour.
They do have a good happy hour. I had a professor who used to take us there for multiple happy hours. And
That's nice.
Founding Farmers.
yeah, Founding Farmers. Yeah,
Very nice. I'm jealous.
it was great. Anyway, we don't need to go into that digression right now. But no, the broadcast was good. It was nice to watch from home. Although I will admit, after the game ended, I legitimately sat down on my couch and just sat in silence for like 10 minutes. Like I just like stared, because I was just like, what just happened? How do they keep doing this? What is this torture that they're putting me through?
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I just want to say one thing. This was my first game at the Smith Center this year. I had a ton of fun. Great to make the trip down to DC for this. And it was really nice to go say hi to a lot of people. I had a lot of people come up and say they enjoy the podcast, enjoy the show. And so that's really cool to hear. So if you're listening, I know we all appreciate it. We do this because we enjoy it. Abe and Scott are here. We love having them, but they do the same thing. They do their stuff because they enjoy it. None of us get paid. None of us get any money out of this. So it's really nice to hear from you guys. And so that made a tough ending. That made it fun. That was really cool. So
yeah.
Any final thoughts from any of us? Abe, Scott? Oh, come on. I was being nice. Am I not allowed to?
No, I support you.
You support?
You.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that was a very.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I was going to give you a final thought, but maybe I don't after the.
I thought it
We
was
can
a
cut him
great
off. We can cut him
I
off.
love
We'll
that.
step in. He doesn't get a final thought. There's
No final thought for you, Scott.
No, right.
Fine. Let's hear it. You're so insightful.
I was gonna say, like, there have been a lot of good games at GW this year. Like the Mason game was good, just turnout wise, but I think that they did a really good job, especially bringing in the baseball team, having them courtside as well was a really good move, and I think they should utilize that going into next seasons as well. But I think it was a really good atmosphere. I mean, it was a lot of GW fans. Like Dayton travels well, but it was loud when GW was playing well. So that's my final thought. I'll make you smile.
Oh, it never will happen again after that disrespect. I thought you were saying I was brown nosing.
No, that was a tear from my eye.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I retract my.
You think so low of me?
Okay, Abe, let's hear. You didn't disrespect me, so let's.
Not yet. No, it is my final game here this year. I won't be able to be here on Wednesday. But it's again, awesome environment, and when you see things popping, you see fans getting into it, you're like, this is all we want out of this. You see what it's like to have an environment. You see the fans passionate. You see the baseball team down there. It's loud, and that's really what we're craving. And if you hear Coach talk about it, this is the environment that they want to build here consistently. In order to do that, they're gonna have to start winning these games. But I think it's a really good start. Coach also mentioned Mike Bray texted him right after the game saying that they were that he was watching and giving his praise to GW. People are starting to respect the program. I know the win-loss in conference play might be different, but there's respect being put on this program. You see it now, us being put on Friday ESPN game. I think people realize GW is for real, and I hope that the fans and the students can really continue to support the team, because we've seen a lot of games where there aren't fans. It's not nearly as much juice behind the players, so they need all of us. They need all of you fans at home. So they'll get through the rough patches, but the fan base is what makes this place, and this place gets loud, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my favorite place in the world to watch a basketball game. I think I love the Smith Center. I've been very clear about this before. And I want more environments like the one that you guys had tonight. And for that, the team needs to win. You got to win these games. There's a lot of people that came to the game tonight and watched GW lose in a close game that were a lot more likely to come back if they won. So like, you just have to win the games. It's nice to have the program respected, and what they've done to build it up in the last few years has been good, but it's at the point now where you have to win the games. You have to beat Dayton at home on Friday 10. You have to we're saying someone's complimenting me, so I'll be putting that up there. Yeah, you have
Thank
to
you,
win the
Sammy.
games. Who's Sammy? Who's Sammy?
Yeah. He agrees with what you're saying, Liam. So keep going.
We should make this the thumbnail of the podcast. Just me and just preach. Just like whatever I say is right. So anyway,
Pastor Liam
Pastor Liam,
and the Church of GW Basketball.
right? The Church of GW Basketball. No, I mean, like, this was probably one of the best Friday 10 games that we've had this year from a neutral perspective.
It was. Yeah, I was talking
it
to
was
Tyler and Matt
really
of the 3 Bid
entertaining
League podcast sitting next to us. And while St. Louis VCU last week had like a fight, and like that was cool.
There was almost a fight in the stands after the game here, by the way, as well.
What? And there wasn't a video? Why didn't one of you useless motherfuckers?
I missed it.
I mean, we were watching what was going on in the court. Sorry, we should have had one of us locked in on the stands. We didn't plan that well, but it was a really fun game. So I'm very glad I made the trip down. Good use of my flight points. Oh, yeah. we have another comment from another Sam.
Another fight.
Apparently there was a fight during the game as well. So we are learning new information here. So if anyone has any details, you know how to reach all of us on Twitter. Our DMs are open. We'd love to hear about that.
We'll also be looking at World Star later, maybe see if anything pops up.
Check the crime log.
Yeah, so this is all interesting. So
yeah,
looks like there was some drama in the stands again. We are learning this with you, so we appreciate our eyes and ears on the ground there, the loyal GW Basketball Insider listeners. The beauty of live streaming, the beauty of a live chat. This is great. Oh boy, okay. So we're not
gonna leave that.
So if you can see that on the chat, you can do some Googling and some Twitter searching to maybe figure out what was going on. But I think this is a great point to wrap. Right, Liam?
Yeah. I also think this is a great point to wrap. We'll be back soon. 2 more regular season games for GW and then the A10 tournament. Yeah, thank you guys for listening to this late night edition of the GW Basketball Insiders podcast. And thank you guys, Scott and Abe, for joining us.
Pleasure as always.